city bitch, trip city bitch. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. Yeah. Trip city bitch, yeah, I'm coming on the clip. Trip city bitch, trip city bitch. 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 Welcome back to Trip City, to opinions nobody asked for or cared about. Today we're going to be talking about Atlanta, that magical place right next to the rest of Georgia,
Yeah.
Right the great state of Atlanta.
The hot spot.
Yes, correct.
Terrible airport.
Horrible roads. It's
bad traffic.
Nothing really memorable. A bunch of women trying to get their rent paid. All I remember, the clubbing culture. It's gay and black.
Love and hip hop Atlanta.
Love and hip hop Atlanta.
I guess that's what happens there.
The Braves is really all I think about. But the show with Donald Glover. There's a lot to talk about with this show, and not in a good way. It'll have you leaving every single episode like you want to blow your fucking brains out. Like it's the way that their show talks down to you, like you're a child, a stupid fucking little baby idiot, because that's how it looks at you. It'll just spend an entire episode preaching, sacrificing the time that could have been spent world building or character development. They stay exactly the same through the entire show, and if anything, get rewarded for being worse and being more like what they used to be.
I remember I saw a quote from someone saying something of like, this would be a great show if you were like a person who was like completely racist your whole life, like a white person who was like never talked to a black person, basically. I think this would be a good educational show for you. I do. I think, because we also said the whole time we watched it, we love Donald Glover. Like, we love him, we love his vision. He has such good, like, there's moments in the show, like at the beginning where like everything has Atlanta on it, like shots and stuff that are beautiful. But, those are the best parts. We don't get any character development from these main characters. Like, we have, how many? Four main characters. And I think like the main person the story's about is Earn. And even with like hearing something about Earn, I wouldn't even think he would be my favorite character. Like, I think I'd say maybe Paperboy, the one he's managing, is the one that's probably the most liked, I think, besides Darius.
Darius makes the show.
Yeah. Single-handedly,
that is the best character on the show.
Yeah.
And everyone else is smoking crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hardcore.
It's ridiculous. Darius is the best. Paperboy is the most developed. Earn is the most, like, he's probably not the least liked, because that's V. I think V is the worst out of everybody.
Watching an entire V episode will make you want to kill yourself. But go ahead.
I absolutely hate V. She's probably, she's the worst. Every episode, from the beginning, you get this kind of energy from some characters where you're like, wow, you're kind of insufferable. But everyone's supposed to start off insufferable, right? Like in the character way. Like,
kind of, yes. A lot of the good ones have. Tony Stark to a degree, but, I'm trying to think of one that you actually hate. Loki.
Yeah. Loki's character. They start off really shitty, but then you see moments in them where you're like, I can see a heart inside of you. And I can see that something in you wants more than this. I can see potential in you. Potential. V never shows any of that, actually. None of it. I think at the very end is when I felt like, oh, I guess good for you, when she ends up with Earn. Because their whole dynamic is, do we need to explain the show? Do people do, like, I know people do that. They're like, here's the setup, here's what's happening to these characters and how they play.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a quick rundown. Alright, so the show is essentially about 4 main characters in Atlanta, 2 of them being related, one of them is a rapper. The rapper's trying to make it in Atlanta. He gets pretty big. His cousin is his manager, and they hang out with a dude who's super spiritual, the most liked one, Darius. His cousin, the cousin of the rapper named Earn, is with Vanessa, one of the most insufferable characters, and grows the least out of everybody, it seems like.
I feel like it gets worse. She like
gets
degresses.
Worse. Yeah, and it's about them traversing the world being black with almost like monster villainous white people, just but literal monsters, like animals, like yeah.
they are terrible people. Like, even I think something else the show does, they'll paint it even when someone is like a white person is like, I don't know, just a normal person, like maybe they don't obsess about this kind of stuff every day, or maybe they like, I don't know, they paint them. We'll like go through each episode and really explain why we feel like this, but they just kind of make them feel like, you know what, even then, even though you're a regular dude that we would probably just see and talk to on a regular basis, you're a monster and you're terrible and you're the reason why we all feel like this. And you should feel, if not immensely guilty, you should just like hate yourself for just how horrible you've been to black people by just existing, it feels like. And I feel like that kind of stuff doesn't really bring us together at all. I feel like that it literally villainizes the opposite side. Like, why would we, like, you know, over something like race? Obviously, we're a mixed couple, so we think it's ridiculous for...
Like one of those fucking grandpas who's like trying to do some shit and they had their flashlight on the whole time. But,
they accidentally faced it.
I mean, obviously we're gonna feel some type of way about it, but I don't know. I feel like, man, you got everyone's got some insight to it, but if you watch this show and you think it's reality, that's crazy to me.
I've never met anybody like this.
You must be a really scared person, like paranoid all the time.
I think so.
Yeah.
The thing that's crazy is like I feel like they over accentuate the black characters themselves in the way of like, they make them seem like horrible people sometimes on how they do things, and they're supposed to just be like, I always had it hard, so I don't understand, like, why should I care about someone else?
Why can't I do this?
Why can't I do
I'm
this?
black.
I'm black.
I had a hard life.
I'm trying to make it. Like, I'm trying to make it.
Even when it's so wild.
Because, like, if a white person said any of this, I'd be like, I don't care if you're trying to make it. You're being an asshole to somebody. And you're being fucking a dick.
When I knew I hated this show was the Old Man in the Tree episode. And it is, which one we came prepared? Season 3, episode 3. When Vanessa, Ern's girlfriend, pushes the waiter in the pool.
Yeah.
That's when I was like,
that's a crazy scene.
Yeah.
Because we're just at a billionaire's house.
Out of nowhere.
And first of all, she comes to Europe to see Ern, like, in this kind of like, I'm running away kind of thing. They have a daughter. The daughter's with the mother
the daughter.
and the father. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her grandparents. The daughter's with her grandparents. And because she wanted to run away and find herself. Where Ern is. She wanted to find herself. They're not together, but she wanted to find herself next to Ern, I guess. And so she goes, and she, I guess, is like in a mental break, and he's like, something seems wrong with you. She's like, nothing's wrong with me. Why would anything be wrong with me? And then pushes a waiter who's, you know, just got a glass of plates into the pool. He gets out, and I guess that's supposed to be kind of like
I think it's supposed to be like fucked up funny.
Fucked up funny, yeah.
And it almost was funny, but it didn't hit the mark for some reason.
Yeah.
The timing was so off. I don't understand it either. Because, like, if you did, I guess if it was, I don't know. If she had something in her life that justified doing that, maybe, I don't know.
Like an insane loss or, I don't know,
something. But literally, she's just having an identity crisis.
Yeah, it's an identity crisis.
That's it. And that's kind of self-imposed insecurity. And it's just so, she is so hypocritical.
Yeah.
So narcissistic. It is so hard to watch her in a scene.
It is. And that wasn't just one time. She did it again to a white woman, who was in a dress, in a long flowy dress, and pushed her in and left. And Ern is like in shock of her doing it again because he just confronted her about it the first time. And Ern's just like, you know, kind of face of like, that crazy bitch, something's going on with her. As this woman is drowning, it's very obvious she's drowning in her dress. Her dress is like over her, and a dude jumps in to save her.
Yeah, I mean, because, I'm pretty sure people have died like that.
I think so.
Yeah, in a dress.
I was like, can she not swim? And then you were like, no, she's drowning in her dress. The dress has engulfed her, and now she's about to die.
And you know, that's supposed to, I think it would have been funny if we didn't know how much the creators of the show actually hate white people.
I agree.
And that's the thing, it is. That's just, I call it how I see it, and I mean, because every show where something racist happens to a minority in the shows that I think are funny, the joke is that this is fucked up and this person is wrong for doing it.
Crazy person.
Right. But with this show, it's like, no, they are completely justified in doing it.
Yeah. I think we talked about Peacemaker. Like the dad, if anybody sees Peacemaker, that one's a good one.
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah.
Being like a completely racist dick, and he's horrible. No, like he's properly racist. Like he is like wants to be a KKK member type, like leader of them, like kind of crazy. When you're like, bro, like you're crazy.
Yeah, he's like the white dragon or some shit. Yeah.
And fuck shit happens to him, and it's good.
That's
like,
funny.
Fuck yes, please, fuck that dude over, like please.
Deserves it fully because he's an actual like full blown racist. Yeah.
Racist dickwad, but like
from HIV to racism. Boy.
This is like the people in this. It feels like almost weird circumstance. What's that one episode that we wanted to talk about? What's his name? With the reparations episode. That one's talked about.
Juneteenth. No, it's work ethic. Or
The Big Payback.
The Big Payback. Oh, it's the reparations episode.
Mm-hmm. Season 3, episode 4.
Oh, you got all this, and it's an apartment. It's like a duplex.
In that episode, basically they're saying that a court case goes in favor of black people can find out who were their slave owners and ask them to give them that money back, but in big amounts. So you also get that interest that from after they were freed, all that interest also comes to them. And so people are supposed to pay out like $20,000 to black people. And like the thing is, we start off with a guy who's, seems like a pretty cool guy. Like he's in a divorce, he's got a daughter, like he's listening, like he shows him listening to radio about the issues and stuff like that. And where they paint him basically in this way of a general everyday white guy, but he needs to pay this $20,000 to this woman who comes to his door and is like, your great granddaddy owned my great granddaddy.
Yeah,
that's what it says. And she harasses this man, goes to his job, goes to his wife,
goes everywhere, basically fucks up his life.
Goes on social media, goes outside his house. She like posted, they have a barbecue outside his house. That was funny. But
that was funny.
He had a barbecue outside his house. And yeah.
It's fucking crazy because, and the thing is like, it doesn't even really make sense. Do you want the money? Because fuck up his life so bad to where he can't even pay you that much.
He can't even pay
It's
you.
really interesting. Yeah. I don't know. The whole, and then, so I guess the moral of that episode was by that the fucking guy at the end was just to, if you're white, just off yourself, because there's no way out.
That's even what it was.
There's no way out of the white guilt. Give into it. You should be sorry. Never enjoy life and feel bad because you did this to everyone. We're still suffering.
How dare you? We're
still suffering. Okay. Yeah.
Because, like, I think the thing that made me feel, like, so surreal of, like, what the fuck am I supposed to feel here? Because everything in my body tells me that this dude, yes, history is fucked, and we've all know the story.
I don't think there's any pro-slavery advocates on YouTube.
I don't think there's any pros. Who wants that shit back? Nobody. But for them to basically say, like, he's looking at this video of this woman who was a complete dick to him and harassed him, and he's a pretty nice guy. I mean, even when she like goes into his house and is like sizing it up, like, oh yeah, little baby boy's gonna have a room in here, like, you know, like planning it out. He's like, and he's in having dinner with his daughter. He's like, ma'am, please leave. Like, ma'am, can you leave? Ma'am, can you leave? Like, she seems like a complete utter bitch. He's looking at a video of her like with her nephew, like, oh baby, you're doing good, I love you. And he's like, oh, yeah.
I know, and it's almost laughable, those
so
scenes where they try and make me feel something in the show because it's so unnecessary. I saw a comment where they were talking about how they don't treat you like you're stupid, but well, I call that lazy writing.
Yeah.
Because they leave out shit and leave it up to your interpretation, and that's good sometimes, but it gets to the point where you actually just don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
And it's so irritating because for a show that always wants you to feel a certain way, they never tie it up to what the actual thing is, but you know there's undertones of what they're saying in every single thing.
Exactly, because that's what they want. They wanted to tell us something, but also make it vague somehow. I don't know how you can do both.
It's just unnecessarily racial when more of our separators in life are classist.
I think class
and from
is
you know what I mean, where you're on the economic scale, that's going to affect how you grew up and your experiences, and honestly more of who you know than anything.
I agree. I think it's kind of ridiculous that most of the white people we met in this storyline were either like middle class or like mega rich.
Yeah.
Like insanely one percenters.
Yeah, that's
like,
so true.
I think like the only example we had of like one person who was like income struggling white person was absolutely insane. Did you want to talk about
which one was the struggling?
That was the homeliest.
Oh yeah, horse. We can talk about that one real quick actually.
Yeah.
The homeliest little horse, basically, where Ern's character he is going through therapy the whole time, and he's basically trying to work through his problems, something he had when he went to Princeton, where he had an experience where really it was just a girl who was a bitch and didn't treat him well, and they attributed it to racism, which that one could have been, maybe.
I feel like that one has
one's
more
kind of
merit
in
to
between.
His now situation.
Yeah. And then, so basically, nothing to do with that. That just fueled him feeling bad about when he was trying to go on a trip to go to the Princeton and reclaim it. The baggage lady, or the TSA lady, wouldn't accept his passport because it was worn.
It was worn out. It's all fucked up.
And so they sent him to another person, and
We don't see this either.
None of it.
He talks about it. We don't see any of this.
Speculation, and he jumps to conclusions all the time. And there's so many identifiers that this woman actually isn't racist. Like her interactions with black characters throughout the show. She's thirsting for her black neighbor. Yeah. She's listening to black music the entire time. I mean, even when they're being rude to her, the black characters, it's not returned. Basically,
she seems very nice, very mousy. I'm actually surprised that she was the person in the story, because from what we see, she's a very mousy, quiet type woman. I guess at TSA she turns that shit up and is a bitch. I mean, that's very understandable. Just because we've all met people at work who were complete dicks, and you're like, your life must be fucking sad behind here. But, you know, it didn't seem like it tracked. I'll take the story's word for it. But I think the thing that was really fucked was how, even if it was what she did, how he treated her and how he reacted. Which was, we learn, you know, because we follow her story. We learn her. Like, we go into her house, we see all these interactions with her. She has always dreamed of having her own, like, children's book. And she's writing children's book. She goes to her best friend. She tells her, I got this offer. They want to dress me up. They want to get me all cute and everything and go reading. And they're thinking, like, this book is going to hit the shelves and it's going to go big. And she's like, okay, I'm worried. You're in a lot of debt. I'm not giving you money again for rent. Like, her best friend saying this. And, you know, she's up in a huff and it's like, you know what? My dreams are going to come true.
So she lost her friend.
I think so.
Yeah, in a way. But that's the thing, though, is like, just because, you know, there's a lot of episodes, but basically, roundabout, she gets a deal, does a reading at a library that was supposed to set off her career, be her Eminem 8 Mile moment, and basically Ern had planned it the entire time to embarrass her, the entire thing, and filmed it. And
put it on TV, I'm pretty sure.
I think so. And they were in a bar, like, chilling, and then he explains that was the TSA lady. And, you know, we get a little reprimand from the characters, Darius and Paperboy. Like, I mean, more from Darius, because he's kind of a moral.
He's a moral guy.
But and basically being like, you know, I'm crazy. And the amount of people who relate to that shit, and I understand, but to the degree of, the show's gonna, like, if the character was hateable, maybe.
Yeah.
It was just such a, like, a neutral, hateable. Like, nothing was wrong with her. I don't know.
I wanted the best.
Kind of nice.
Really nice. I honestly, for a minute, like, when she was talking to Terry, I kind of wanted them to get together. I was like...
Tracy?
Okay. Tracy. Yeah. When he was talking to Tracy, I was like, okay, that's kind of cute. Like, I kind of like this energy. Because she's not scared of him. Sometimes he's can be a scary guy, but he's cool. And, like, I don't know. Like, I did not see any red flags for her character, honestly. I really thought this was going to work out for her.
I thought it was another random story. I thought it was leading to nothing, like they usually do. That's the reoccurring theme of the show, is it always leads back to nothing, and you've been preached at the entire time. Subtly, it's like subliminal messaging. So there was this type of depression that came out. It's called James Cameron depression or whatever. People got it after seeing the first Avatar because they wanted to live on that world and be a part of it and like live in nature and shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like the equivalent of this is like Atlanta depression, right? Like, or Atlanta disillusionment.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, everything's right. Like, you'll literally walk around being like, everything's racist. Everything's racist. Racist.
That's how I felt. Every time I looked at a person, white or black, I would automatically think of like all the things that Atlanta told me to think. And I was like, I don't even believe that. Like, I don't even think like that. Like, I don't even have these kind of thoughts. But I know my view has changed because I've watched Atlanta. And it's I don't know, it's just fucking crazy.
It's preachy storytelling over reality.
Reality. Because we never talk about that again. Things like that for the character that seems like, because they are constant storytelling about these 4 characters, and we're supposed to see them grow, and character development is just terrible. I mean, that was in near the end of the fucking show that he did that. Went to therapy. I thought he was going to get some help and actually be a better person. No, he got worse. He got worse, and then all he said was, I need to go back to therapy. That's what he says at the end. And I don't get any realization of that, if that's actually going to work. If he ever goes back, we never see it. If anyone ever talks about this kind of shit again, they don't show it. Like, I'm supposed to just believe that you developed as a person off screen? Is that how this story works? Is that how storytelling works?
Yeah, because it does to a certain degree, but it doesn't.
No,
you get the checkpoints. You know what I'm saying? Oh, sorry, cooks. But you get the checkpoints along the way. You know, stuff does happen off screen, but it's like if an action show or something so eventful, like a huge battle or fight happened off screen, all this character development. I mean, it's a comedy drama show, and it's not funny, and they fuck up the drama. So I don't really. But that being said, there are good things to everything, and this is no exception. I'd say the best episode is the Teddy Perkins, where they basically do, would you say it's like a simile, or is that a metaphor for Michael Jackson? And Donald Glover plays Teddy Perkins, this character who is very similar to Michael Jackson, and they go into being a kid entertainer and the parents of exceptional people and the pressure that's put on them. And that one was really good because it's an actual conducive story, something that it comes together really well and is clearly written, has a meaning, and not everything has to have a meaning, but even if that one didn't, it was entertaining to watch.
That's so true.
Yeah.
A lot of like creepy
horror elements.
Very cool.
Light Skinned, that was a really good one.
That was good. That was in season 4.
Season 4, episode 4. Teddy Perkins, the one before, season 2, episode 6. Light Skinned is about a really light-skinned black kid who is trying to get into college because his girlfriend is, and basically gets rejected because he's not black enough, and it's the classic thing of, you know.
Because this one was interesting because he's a mixed boy. He's mixed. His dad's black. I guess his mom's white. We don't see the mom. But I guess the story is trying to tell us that he leans more towards white culture than black culture. That's pretty much obviously what they're saying. I said kind of, but that's what they're saying. And by the time, like, you know, someone comes in and he's like, you know what? This is I'm a black man. I'm buying the school, and if you're a black man, if you're black in general, I'll pay for your college, full ride. And they make you kind of prove your blackness. And he just doesn't, he misses the mark.
Yeah, I mean, asking him how to, like, what to mix with Hennessy.
What do you mix with Hennessy?
Yeah, it was, that one ain't bad. I like that one. Barbershop was actually funny.
Barbershop was a funny episode.
Good funny. He goes on a bunch of random errands with his barber, and it's just a funny episode.
I don't think we talk about race on that one.
No, not really. It's just a funny episode.
It's just fun.
See, that one was good. Cancer Attack, season 3, episode 5. Someone steals Paperboy's phone, and we spend the whole episode interrogating this British white kid. Pretty funny, not that racial, you know. probably the big payback. Oh, we already talked about that. Trinity to the Bone, pretty good.
Trinity to the Bone.
It's season 3, episode 7. It's about a white upper class family that has a kid who gets taken care of by a woman from Trinidad, and she dies. And so basically it goes in on that relationship, and it is somewhat racial, but it focuses more on the classes.
Yeah, classes.
Asset, which was
and
refreshing.
Immigration, I felt like, too.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's in New York, and, you really get, which is so weird. We're talking about Atlanta, but we're in New York all of a sudden.
So weird.
Who knows?
Some of these stories don't even stay in Atlanta. Like the third season, aren't they in just UK?
Yeah, they're just in the
time?
UK, yeah.
That's not even America. It's so wild. And then probably the best fucking episode or scene is when Paperboy goes to the talk show with the feminist, and then they come to a conclusion that it isn't racist or sexist, his lyrics, one of the two. And that shit was funny.
Because they wanted him to apologize. They're like, we put you on here because we want you to apologize for what you've said about women. And he was like, I don't see why I need to. He's not the apologizing type.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
And then she actually agreed with him. I think probably one of the weirdest ones is the goof by the door. It's like they're trying to make us believe this was a real situation. Truly. Almost.
It's a docudrama.
It was believable, to be honest, to a certain point, but then it gets back to its like critically racial, unnecessary bullshit, and then you're like, oh, weird. Yeah, it isn't real because they're doing their classic shit.
And I felt like that one was like a perfect example on like how I think Atlanta was as a show, is that, it feels like it's trying to tell us a story about, we are unapologetically black, and we see these white people coming for us and attacking us, and we have to come in and like it's like a war, like we come in and we take these spaces back. We bring us back in here. But in the midst of it, he because in the goof and by the door, he went through adversity his whole life. He finally gets what he wants, and it corrupts him. It corrupts him in a way that like he loses his family, he loses his job, and he basically killed himself. That's what the story says.
I think he did, though.
They say they don't know, but they're like, his car was in a river after a fight. Like, I was like, how does
his car swimming?
How's your car just going a swim? And I think he like left a note too. He said something. He was like, I'm sorry to my family for everything that's happened. And then his car is in a river, so obviously he killed himself. And this is what it feels like the story is doing. I mean, everything that happens, it looks bad on the actual characters themselves. It makes them look like evil villains. Because, I mean, I always thought we were all supposed to do this thing of like, turn the better cheek, like be the better person, like be better than that. Martin Luther King. But I guess everybody is on Malcolm X shit, and they're like, look, we're gonna fucking start a war.
Everything's justified.
Everything's justified now, bitch. It don't even matter. Like, I don't think that is how we're gonna get anything done here.
It's just so funny because I'd say ending on, going through, we went through a lot of episodes, but the last one we're gonna talk about specifically is when she abandons Lottie to go eat, like, and then so they'll have scenes like expanding on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's always, we have to fuck over people even if they're black to help me because I'm black and no one will help me, so I'll fuck over other people who are black. That wouldn't even make sense if they were a white person though.
Yeah.
And it's the crazy rationale where basically when they go to Europe and Van follows them while they're on tour and abandons Lottie, she goes around delivering cut up hands and beating people up with the baguette. The baguette was funny. There are funny aspects
So
to
funny.
every episode, but it'll be like 2 things throughout the episode that made you go, huh, that's kind of funny. But then the rest of it's like, what are you talking about? If you ever want to like scream at a TV, like the TV, kind of just be like, what the fuck is this?
That's true.
Because it's honestly, I'm used to the preaching with everything that's happened in Hollywood. Because they went from representation to just like full on like hate fantasies, and I'm used to it. But the thing that makes it super annoying is the characters never actually even finish their story.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a complete ending.
Yeah.
With at the end, the very ending episode, it was all a dream, which is a classic thing take on many different movies and shows. But we don't actually know if any of it happened because it might have all been in Darius's head.
Yeah. They leave us on a cliffhanger at the end of the whole thing.
But the whole thing felt like a cliffhanger the entire time, in a bad way. Truly. In a really bad way.
In a really bad way. I think once we got to it was all a dream, I could see the anger in you. Because the anger was in me, but I think what happened is as it was happening, I was like, oh, so this is it. So after all of this horrible character development and this like fever dream of a show, like where some parts were funny, some parts were insanely sad and insanely depressing, and some parts were just boring. Like some parts were just
straight up
boring.
Just
I was
boring.
Like, God, like I just really I felt like I was just going through the motions.
And a waste of an episode.
Yeah, there's some episodes I was like, this doesn't seem important. This seems like a waste of something.
And they keep them at 10 every time, so it's like they literally were doing fillers. I didn't want to interrupt you, but
that's so true. But like once we got to the end and they were like trying to tease us in this way of like, and it wasn't even really real. Like maybe it all was fake. Isn't that funny? See, don't even think about everything that I just said. I've been preaching to you for like 4 years. But don't pretend like it didn't even happen. It's probably fake. You don't even know.
Thank God we didn't watch it where it was coming out every week and dedicate our actual time to it. Which honestly, because I feel like it would have polluted my brain to watch this over time. I'm glad we just speed ran it at this point in our lives, because it's pretty obvious that some of this shit is just literal. It's not just lazy, but it does something to the mind.
It does.
I think it is.
I don't think we talked about the 3 slaps episode either.
Circling back, because there was another one actually, the work ethic one, where she takes her daughter to work and going on that child entertainer thing. And
that one was interesting. I thought that was an interesting topic to talk about.
I thought it was good, but it was just kind of weird.
It was weird. I think it was supposed to be like a Teddy Perkins thing.
But it was, exactly.
Because he does the same thing.
Yes.
He comes in as the villain again, dressed up, but like this time he's like in a fat suit, like, and it's Lottie and her mom, and basically it's like, I don't know. What would you say you learned from this?
I would say that I really don't know, because basically it's okay to do anything to anybody if you're famous, is what it seemed like. If you become famous, it doesn't matter what you want, or I don't know what
if it's working out for you, because Lottie loved it. Her mom didn't like it, which was the first time I ever actually agreed with something that V was saying, because we all know how like child acting is.
It started redeeming her.
Yeah,
after the Europe trip.
Just after the Europe trip, where she was going crazy, and I felt like, okay, I'm kind of getting what you're getting here, but we come to this conclusion at the end where she just basically like starts like shooting people on set and things like. Well, she doesn't shoot them. Somebody else shoots them.
That's kind of not her fault, but
it's not her
just
fault.
Random circumstance.
It's random circumstance, but like, she finds her daughter and leaves, and I don't know. I guess that's it. Like, it didn't feel like I learned anything besides gross. I don't like the children in the industry kind of thing, and
which I mean is a pretty
It's
good one. I mean,
dangerous.
that's when it gets to shit like that and it's not about race. I'm like, thank God they made it an episode without making it about race.
So true.
But that one, it's like when they don't do race, they have no comedy and also no plot line. They ran out of steam towards the end of the episodes. You can tell because there's even an episode where they just spend the whole thing camping and there's almost no dialogue.
Oh my
and it
God.
seems like the whole thing was improvised.
Ugh.
And it's right towards the end, so it's such a
Episode.
waste of a fucking episode where you
Such a
could have
waste
used
of
it to
episode.
actually tie something up.
Oh my God.
It's so fucking aggravating.
I guess
just from a storytelling
the
perspective.
tie-up, I guess, because the tie-up, I guess, is gonna have to be we're all a family now. We're all a family, but it feels so undeserved.
It does. Undeserved and forced. Both.
Undeserved and forced. Like, we talk a little bit about, like, she says she misses her grandma. Like, you can tell Ern's insecure about, like, you know, being gone for so long in these developmental years. Like, you know, trying to do this whole thing for her. Like, you can tell there's some insecurities there, but we don't get to really face any of that. Like, we just bring it up. She seems very depressed. Like,
The child. The
child?
Yeah.
I
She seems very upset.
very not okay. She says, like, I don't want to I don't like my birthday. Like, and she's
What
like
kid
7.
says that?
She's like 7. And her mom just
like
keeps
my
saying,
birthday.
like, that's fine. Like,
What kid says that shit? I don't like it.
are you having fun? She's playing with a stick, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
And it was an interesting choice bringing your kid on a camping trip when you don't go camping a lot, and you chose it and the kid didn't.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and he rented out the whole campsite. I think that was their way of, I guess, making an episode with 3 actors, because I don't know. That one was really monotonous and old. But you said we missed one, the one with the foster kid.
Yeah, 3 slaps.
This one was the one that was most blatantly like, okay, I get it. They want us to think that white people are fucking racist.
I fucking get it. All right. I
Yeah,
get you.
I mean, let me see which one that was too. What season?
Yeah. That one.
Because it feels even sooner I started getting that shit.
Oh, that's right. That was the first episode of season 3.
Yeah, actually, I'd say honestly, probably season 1. You can start by that 3rd episode. You start to be like, oh, this is the formula.
Yeah,
this is how it's
formula.
gonna be.
That's
You
gonna
know.
be. I think too we were fine with it because I mean I'm fine too with like some people having like some anger towards certain people because some people he met like there was one dude who was a dick to him when they were in college, and he was like trying to get him like, hey, can you help me out here? Oh, Scoop's gone.
Calling back.
But like some people are like, like, ooh. I forgot what I was saying.
I know, it's crazy that Scoop's calling.
Scoop calls. This is so funny. We all know Scoop. We all love Scoop. It's just crazy to think that that guy completely deserved his dismay of being like, he's a dick. He's not a true friend. He's not trying to actually help me out when I need him. He just really wants to use me as a black friend token thing. I get that, but that shit at the beginning, and then he never changes. He only sees people as evil, white people as evil, and trying to fuck him over. I mean, the show ends like that. How is that supposed to encourage anyone watching it that, hey, let down some of your shit? Like, even if you have some shit that is real, like some real adversities in life, and some like people were actually treating you wrong and you were actual victims of racism, don't let that shit hold you back. Let that shit like build you up.
That's crazy. I was about to call you back on her phone too.
Oh, thank you, bro. What's up, man?
What up, bro? I'm actually filming a podcast right now. What you up to?
Damn it. Well, actually, I was gonna ask for some help. I need some help. I need some assistance.
Yeah, where you at? What you need?
I'm in Fountain Inn.
What's going on? Oh, is it?
My tire.
Oh, okay. You got a spare?
She said I have a spare in the back. Well, let me check just in case. But my mom did say there's a spare in the back, and I got a jack.
Okay.
A car jack.
All right. Word.
Well, let me make sure I got that. Let me check it. Well, I made some hasty decisions.
So what?
Gosh, it's the worst.
It's the worst.
Let me see some of this shit is in here, cuz.
Yeah, man, you got it.
Okay, so I do got the jack.
Okay, word, because that's all we really need. Because as long as you got the spare. Well, you have a tire iron, right?
Yeah. Let me see. The spare's in here. The spare is in here. Yes, the spare is in here. So, yeah. If you could come help the girl out, because I know nothing about tire stuff.
Yeah.
Or nothing about cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you can come over and chill out with your boy for a second, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's right.
So he does have a tire iron.
Yeah. You have a tire iron, though?
Say that again?
A tire iron?
A tire iron?
Yeah, like to take the bolts off.
No, I don't have one of those.
Okay, I'll just bring it. I actually have one, so it's
You
straight.
got one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. She said we could just type in what I am, but if that makes it easier, then yeah, let's do that, bro.
Word. All right. I'll just send me the address real quick, all right?
Yeah. Let me check my address real quick, and I'll get that. How you guys been though? What's going on, man? You guys got a day off out of it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just soaking it in. Just constantly
You
working.
work too much.
Yeah, pretty much. You too, man. You've been killing it too.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, this shit is wild. Bro, I'm working 11, 12 hours a day, man. This shit is, it's not for the weak, bro.
Especially in this economy, bro. You know we gotta do what we gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do, guys.
Gotta get it done.
This shit is wild. But, hold on, let me find my address, and,
I'm gonna wrap up this podcast real quick. All right.
yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
You're good. No, you good. We just on the tail end of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay. Alright, that's cool, G.
All right, yeah. Just hit me with that address, and I'll call you when I'm on the way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Peace.
Yes. Oh God, that poor baby.
Yeah, I know that sucks when you blow a tire. That's one of the most annoying fucking things.
I should have maybe have a cute little break.
Well, the thing is, I hope he's in a flat. We're gonna have to we can just drive his car and I can push it. We'll bring the truck just in case I do have to push it.
Okay. Excuse me, cook.
We're wrapping this up though.
Because I don't think all we had left was the 3 slaps.
The 3 slaps. Oh yes, this one was like actual. I mean, they had the fucking metaphor of the children out there literally tending to a garden.
Literally tending to
All black children, these 2 lesbians adopted like 6 black children. And the one thing, the most annoying part about it all is I think it's so confusing. Are we supposed to think his mother and his grandfather were good for him?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they kind of brought Child Protective Services to the front door, hitting him at school in the face.
They hit it. He just slaps him 3 times in the face in front of the counselor, the therapist counselor at school, because he got in trouble at school. I was like, that's obviously a huge red flag. I mean, and then they come up to the door. They're like, we're taking your son. We're not taking your son away. We just want to do a welfare check. And she's like, take him away. I don't care. Here's his stuff. Throws his clothes out. Was like, get out. Get the fuck out. You want to call the cops on me? Get out.
Kind of threw away her son like it was nothing, and then we're supposed to accept at the end of the episode that was where he was supposed to be. But I swear, at every point, this was based on a true story, and I mean, that's what's so confusing is they'll have the goofy thing, they'll have the mixed kid, they'll have these the reparations, the anthology shit where they mix in real ones with fake ones, and it gets so confusing on what was a real story. Confusing. But staying on that specific episode is so annoying because I mean, the message was just that foster care is bad. I would agree with you.
That's true.
But
rough.
some kids just need to be in foster care.
I honestly, looking at that situation,
probably not
that
him,
he was in
but,
before, I wouldn't say
not him though. Yeah,
like come and get him. But I would also be like, there needs to be some intervention here. Like this woman is not raising her child well. Someone said something along the lines of he came like more of like a strict home life with his mom, and I was like, it felt a little bit more than strict, just because I mean, if you're hitting them in the face at school, I would assume that worse shit happens behind closed doors, personally. If I was a teacher, if I was a person seeing them hit a kid in the face over something that was not that big of a deal. He was dancing on a table, showing out. And yes, he was showing out, but like, I don't think we have to take it to race when you're that young. I mean, she literally looks at him in his face and she was like, you showing out for these white people? These white people gonna kill you.
And that line is echoed through my mind. That's one of the stupidest things that I've seen on the show. Yeah, it's so crazy.
I hear her voice. Because eventually, obviously, he goes to a foster home where these white people are trying to kill him. Like, they're trying to kill him. They feed him microwave chicken. The children are getting sick.
Which, theoretically, you could cook it, but I would say it takes more to microwave. Why? It's just like the logic. I mean, sometimes I can't even accept that anyone, let alone a white person. Like, that's the thing is like, just because they're white, I can't even accept that anybody would be that dumb.
Anybody would be that idiot.
You know, let alone one type of person. You know, it's just so crazy. Unless it was like a child.
Yeah.
Trying to make food.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like a lot of the show just mixes in real and fake shit. He saves them at the end.
Yeah, he saves all the kids at the end because the lesbians want to kill themselves, basically, and all of the black children they adopted. And he escapes and comes home, and his mom says, it's about time you come home.
Like they didn't, the state didn't take him away from her.
Like the state didn't literally just take him away. Like, bitch, how the fuck am I supposed to come home?
Like he's a dog or something at the door. It's crazy. And the thing is, I would have to say is like sometimes the anthology series are a better part of the show, because it's like when you really want the plot, they don't deliver. They give lazy writing and, no real ending or conclusion to any of the storylines. So when they come with the anthology series, they're going to have to tie it up to a certain degree. They still don't sometimes, but they're also right in your face with it, instead of trying to weave in this thing and like subliminally make you think the entire world's racist. They're just like, hey, the world's racist.
Yeah.
And I like it so you can blatantly say, the way you think it is, no. Like, it's straight up, no, not that, yeah.
Yeah, not that. I mean, Jesus.
You're gonna have some black kids scared to death.
Scared. I think about that mom's voice all the time. These white people are gonna kill you. It's like, what? You told that to your child at school? In front of everybody. Like
reverse that statement and see how crazy it would be to like these black people gonna kill you. They gonna kill you now.
Gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Look at the news, son. The black people gonna kill you. You'd be like, okay, some black people do want to kill you. Some white people want to kill you, but not specific race. People just sometimes just want to kill you.
And that's the ironic thing. A lot of people saying, "Oh, they don't treat you like you're stupid."
Yeah, I remember you said that.
I don't agree.
I think they did treat me like I was stupid.
They treat me like I'm stupid, and they're lazy.
Dumb as fuck. Yeah.
Writing, and it loses so much wind at the end. It's barely in Atlanta. One of her friends actually was like, "I'm scared to go to Atlanta." I don't blame you. She was from Africa, right?
Yeah, she originated from Africa and lived in the Oklahoma areas for a little while, then she lived in Greenville a little bit. Like, Atlanta's the biggest city I think she's probably lived in, and I mean, we've seen Atlanta because we used to live in Georgia, and so I mean, we've gotten to visit. We never lived there. We never wanted to live there, first of all, but some people did. I just think, I don't know. I was like, I wouldn't let that. I didn't even see Atlanta yet at the time. I thought they were just like in the hood of Atlanta. That's what I thought. But, no.
There's not even famous Atlanta hoods in there, you know? And, I'm not like I'm not doing environmental impact studies on Atlanta or anything. I don't, I'm not surveying the area, but ones that you would even recognize, it literally looks like some random ass suburban areas.
That's so
some
true.
cul-de-sacs and shit. But what would you rate the show? Because we gotta go pick up Scoot.
Oh, on a scale out of 10, I want to give it a 6, but I know that'd be generous. So I feel like I want to give it a 4, just because I wouldn't watch it again. I'd probably watch a few episodes again, but I would never want to watch it from the beginning to end. I would not watch it again, and I think that's a huge sign that I did not like it that much.
And probably I won't even watch any of it again unless it's like for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Were you saying, did you actually rate it?
Yeah, I rated it a 4.
4.
I'll go in the middle and say 5.
I was gonna do the exact same thing, but I think I should be real honest and say it 4. I think it deserves a lower rating. I think it is super bad. I think it's interesting because Dave, the whole reason we watched this is he compared it to Dave, and Dave is such an inspiring show about when it comes to making music, and they showcase so many different walks of life and characters, and they make everybody feel included, and they talk about real issues, and they make it funny, and they make it dramatic, and they make it weird, and they do every single thing but better and on a wider scope, so it is more relatable to everyone.
And somehow more focused.
And still more focused, and they bring it around. They always close up the stories.
They do.
For the most part, I mean, they might do something open-ended, but yeah.
But they'll talk about shit from the past, they'll bring it up. I mean, the character development is crazy, especially from the main character. Insanely good growth.
Yes, and it's about real shit.
Real shit.
When Atlanta has no personal attachment to Childish Gambino's real life at all.
No.
To the point where it's like, even the episode where he gets like a knockoff shirt, you're like, is that something real? No, I don't think it is. I think every single thing is made up. Yeah.
Probably. I think something that was also really interesting that I liked from Dave is that he wrote and made music for this because he's a musician and a comedian. You could tell he put his comics and comedian timing.
He is also.
Yeah.
Which
so is Donald Glover.
Yeah.
And I thought, Donald would give us a little bit. He showed like good, raps at the beginning of just like Atlanta, rappers from Atlanta, rappers with the Atlanta vibe, like, at the beginning. And I liked that. But I mean, as for Paperboy goes, like, we hear like little snippets and they're like very general kind of like songs, and you're like, okay, I guess that's good. But like, it's kind of like, I don't feel like he deserves it, I guess. Like sometimes I'm just like, oh, he's blowing up. We know that because he's doing this. He's blowing up. Like I'm hearing this music and I'm like, I have nothing to compare it to. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Or, I'm done with that.
Yeah. Well, and Dave is, got so much more funnier shit. And honestly, when he does something racist, and it really a lot of times is not something that's like super, but anyway, racially insensitive. They talk about it. Oh my God, just like effortlessly good.
They do, because he'll come back with some jokes, and his friends will come back with some jokes, and we always come back to the realization of like what's the right thing to do. Because in his jokes, it's like I'm stating some obvious things, some real things, and I'm also kind of stupid on this. I made the mistake, so obviously I'm kind of stupid on this, and someone helps him out with it, kind of thing. And you see it in his character. He changes as a person. I hate all of the people in Atlanta, man.
If you saw the Atlanta
Yeah.
recommended after watching Dave, after finishing binging watching Dave, not knowing whatever, and then see Atlanta, and then you go to watch it, you'd be like, what in the fuck is this, man? You would be so pissed off. It's just, honestly, it's kind of like the doom scroll equivalent of long form content, and where you just hate watch it, because by the middle of it, we were absolutely hating it. Just trying to watch it to say we gave it a chance is not how you should feel about TV. You're supposed to enjoy stuff. It's not supposed to be a schoolroom act. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like I'm in a lecture every day.
Yeah.
A lecture.
About stuff that is your point of view that is really kind of diluted.
Really diluted. Really.
And very subjective.
How I thought about it, I compare it to 13 Reasons Why almost, just because of like people's reactions. Like, because some people, when it was coming out, it's like, oh my god, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing, amazing. There's nothing wrong with it. And then you get to the bottom and the nitty gritty of it, and you're like, no, this character's ass, this development's shit. What the fuck am I supposed to feel with this shit? Like, obviously, this writing is not taking me anywhere because I don't feel it. And I mean, that's how I feel about Atlanta. I feel like I saw a lot of comments on people saying some real stuff on the things that we've said and we felt and we agreed with before we even looked it up. We watched it, did not look at any comics or anything. This is how we felt. And then we looked at the comments. And people were saying the things that we were saying. Some people who were for it were saying some of the things that we were saying. But also just completely saying that, like, you know, I had a lot of like things of like, you know, if you don't like this, then are you even like, do you get it?
It's Joe Biden behavior basically. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
You're not black enough. And like, obviously that took me personal, because I was like, I mean, I know some people, just like on that episode of, you know, The Light Skin, where it's like, prove you're black. And in that episode was very profound. I loved how they like showed that. Like literally a spotlight on you and being like, okay, so now I want you to prove to me that you're black. And if you say the wrong thing...
Felt more self-aware.
That felt way self-aware.
Yeah, some of the other episodes.
Other shit, you're like, are you stupid? Are you deluded? And other shit, you're like, oh, you're self-aware. And that part was like, yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about, like, you know, someone saying, if you don't like it, you're not black. I'm like, how am I supposed to, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't like it, though.
It makes no sense. I've got to like something just because of the color of my skin. Makes no sense. It's so racist, you know what I mean? Because it's like, people will do that and then, you know, not that this is okay, but then get pissed off if you like, black people love watermelon, black people love fried chicken, black people or love drums and love dancing. If you say all those things, that's racist. But if you
say the opposite,
it's so weird.
It's not racist.
Yeah, I guess you gotta say it in a certain light,
a reflection
or with
you.
The wind going a certain way. I don't know, because I don't know how one is the exact same thing as the other, but not racist.
Yeah,
it's so weird to me. There's so many. I just wanted to circle back to Dave, and we would have never even compared them if he didn't compare them himself. To be fair, it did get us to watch it. I think it's a waste of time. I would not watch it. You will feel like it's a waste of time. If you like, I guess, Donald Glover's view on reality, and you want to be reaffirmed that the world is a way that it isn't, then yeah, you should watch it, because you're going to enjoy it. You'll be like, yeah, I was right. But I mean, it's going to draw you further down a hole where your perspective is so maladapted. I just, it's a crazy fucking show.
It's a crazy show, because it has good points, but measuring it, I feel like the good points don't weigh out the bad. So I mean, like, I don't know what to say to people when they say that they like the show. Well, I don't say anything because I read it online, but, you know, I don't know what to really say for them, but I just think it's it's a miss, and I really was disappointed in how he wrote this, because he's a good.
You were supposed to save us. Donald Glover, you're supposed to save the rap game. Come back, sing. I seriously.
Why did you come say
This
that?
is America. Go to my area.
Red Bone.
The Red Bone.
The
Legends of the Red Bone. No, but for real, I've always considered him very talented, and the fact that this was his bread and butter, his whole thing is just, the directing is really good, the cinematography, I'd say that's,
Very
everything
awesome
else
shots.
is such an
Awesome
annoying
shots,
show to
beautiful
watch,
shots.
like, I'm gonna be honest, it's just not an enjoyable show to watch. There are some shows that are super serious, but you still enjoy them. You really don't enjoy any of this, and you feel like you wasted. I feel like I wasted part of my life.
I feel like I did waste
some of it watching it.
It gave me like a real cloudy headache kind of feeling when I watched it. Just a lot of like a stress headache, I guess, of like, what? Like, hey, that's just not what I like from my cinema. I like things to like take me out of it, encourage me, make me believe in something,
That's
push
true.
me further. Because even in this like pessimistic point of view that he was giving, we don't get any like fire put into you of like, go out there and live your fucking dreams, like go do it. Like we don't even get that. We just get like, it might have worked out for them, maybe it didn't, they're happy now, so
Maybe it's not even real. Maybe that dude was racist. Maybe they were in a dollhouse.
Yeah.
Like I was
they
some
hate
random
us, they'll always hate us,
Yeah.
it won't ever change.
Yeah, this is how the world is. Anyway,
We're happy to have it over.
I mean, it's no shade to Donald Glover. Still love his music, and
Still support him.
he is talented, but
Try any of his other shit. Anything else.
And I would
his stand-up's funny.
Dave is a way better show in the way of what they are. About being about a rapper in general. If you want something about a rapper, a show about a rapper, kind of to be funny, inspire you, and interest you with the character development, watch Dave instead, because this one, it will give you a headache. It will seriously make your head hurt. It is that aggravating to watch. There are little bits sprinkled out that make it funny, but it'll be one really funny bit and the rest of it's preaching, and the serious parts of it go nowhere.
Yeah.
No character development. You don't see shit. So we're tying it up there.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, I'm not sorry. But thank you so much. An hour on Atlanta. That's
so funny.
I mean, you gotta.
He said 30 minutes. He said 30 to 40 minutes. That didn't happen. We were pretty angry about this, so I think it's best to just have an hour episode, and hopefully it'll save.
It's not real anger though. It's just frustrating, and we did it to ourselves. That's the thing. Is like, but I'm interested by people who passively watch this for entertainment.
Yeah.
Because I can't. I had to actively force myself to watch it. It was so, and I only did it because, like we said, Donald Glover compared them, and I love Dave so much. This is not anywhere close to being on par with Dave. Yeah. So.
I think too we gave it a shot for that, got into like the second season for that, and then after the third season we came to I think a little bit after the third season, but like third season was officially the time we were like, this is not good and we hate this and we just have to finish this, like we have to see this through.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Oh God.
That's what it seems like.
Nails. Because truly we didn't want to believe that Donald Glover would put out something like this, and that it would have a profound meaning. I thought maybe like, reflecting on Black people themselves and saying like, hey, putting up a mirror to the Black community in many ways, like with childcare and how women are in groups and how
not for Van. No reflection on that. But keep going.
But that's what I thought. I thought maybe he was going to come to something of like, all of these things, we can all see these things in Black people, and we can also, reflect on them and be better. But it didn't seem like that's what he was trying to say. and that's the disappointing part.
No self-awareness.
No self-awareness.
I completely agree. That is the most disappointing part. It would have honestly made everything a lot better if you just sprinkled in some self-awareness along with it. But I think it's a very ironic show and tells more about how some black people see the world rather than how white people actually are, because a lot of this is fairy tale randomness. But hasta luego, Trip City. Be a funnier episode next time.
Bye.
Adios.